Hello YouTube, it's Sparrow Rose, the Autistic Nomad. Remember I talked several months ago, it's been a while since I've posted a video, I apologize, camera problems. Anyway, remember when I talked about being afraid, but doing things anyway? Yesterday I went to the gender clinic, and I was describing myself as a nervous wreck, and that might have been an understatement. But I went, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I went to the Informed Consent Clinic, Legacy Montrose in Houston. And I highly recommend them. I'm paying out of pocket because I'm not a Texas citizen, but I was really trying hard to get what I needed in Florida, and Florida, strangely, does not make it so easy to transition. So I'm up here in Texas, and I go back to the clinic on July 1st. And fingers crossed, I start hormone replacement therapy then. It's up to the doc, but everything looks really promising. Basically, since some of you watching this might really benefit from some of this information, basically, I called them up and made the appointment, and it took about a month to get in. But from what I'm hearing from other people, that's actually pretty fast. Like in Chase Ross's video this week, he talks about looking at a informed consent clinic in Montreal, and they had, I think he said, a 2-year waiting list, which is just, I couldn't wait 2 years. I couldn't. Neither could he. He went and got, he took things into his own hands and didn't wait either. But, so I came up here for the appointment, and it started out like any kind of medical appointment. You know, you deal with reception, and then the nurse takes you back and weighs you and puts the oximeter on your finger, that blood pressure, all of that. I had to fill out a lot of forms, but it wasn't that bad. They were some of the best forms I've ever filled out in my life. Very sensitive. I had to put some medical history and the information of my general practitioner. It asked me what gender I was assigned at birth and how I identify now, both with respect to sex and gender. And there were a lot of options on the form. I ended up checking other under sexuality because they didn't even have asexuality listed. And as best I can tell right now, I'm a panromantic asexual, but I consider myself gray ace because I'm not really 100% sure whether that's where I'm at or not. And I figure hormones could change my sexual expression as well. It remains to be seen. But neither of those options were in the list, so I checked other. And under gender, I checked trans man and I checked non-binary, and I was so impressed that they had non-binary as an option on the form. So then I talked to the doctor for, I didn't check the time, but I think we talked about an hour. And she asked a lot of medical questions, and she also asked questions about how long have I known that I'm trans, and why am I deciding now at age 50 to embark on medical transition. And they were good questions, and she's really good at her job. I got choked up for a second at one point, but she did a really good job of getting good, solid, true answers out of me. She even managed to get me to confess that I live in my van, which I wasn't going to tell her because I wanted to come across as solid and stable and responsible, and someone who can be trusted with hormones. And I think I did come across as all those things, but also the problem was my mailing address is in Clay County, and my doctors are in Alachua County, and she kept kind of poking at that until finally she said, "Where do you live?" And that's when I fessed up. I said, "Well, honestly, I live in my van," and I could just see this like red flag tripping, and I'm not the best ever at reading people's reactions, so if I saw it, it was pretty big. And I said, "I know the form asked, 'Are you homeless?' And I checked no. And that's because I don't consider myself to be homeless. I have a home. It's my van. Homeless people, they don't have a place to live, and they're struggling and suffering. And I have a pretty good life. It's just an alternate lifestyle living in my van. And my last apartment was horrible, and my van is great, and it costs less, and I am living more life, and I'm very happy with it." And I could see the flag kind of coiling back down into its flagpole. Overall, I think it went well. Then she sent me to get labs done, which I take as a good sign. She wouldn't send me to get labs done, especially knowing I'm paying for everything out of pocket, if she didn't. It says to me that unless something's really bad on my labs, I'm gonna be starting T in the beginning of July. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm also nervous as hell because this is huge. This is among the biggest things I've ever done in my life. And I think if I weren't nervous, that's when I should be worried about what I'm doing. If this were not a big deal, that would be more cause for concern, in my opinion. But I am more excited than I am nervous. I am very happy. Just very happy and very hopeful, and most of my nervousness is about concern whether I'll actually get to start hormone therapy or not. That's my biggest source of nervousness and anxiety right now. I'm right on the brink, like a week and a half, and then I find out, and as far as I'm able to tell, we get one crack at this thing, this life, this existence. It's a cliche to say that it's not a dress rehearsal, but it's also true. It's not. It's your one wild, precious, irreplaceable life. And what happens in that wild, beautiful life of yours is at least in part up to you. Trust yourself and go forth boldly. I love you. Love yourself.